My name is Sergeant David Rose. I'm with the Houston Police Department's Vehicular Crimes Division. We are out here investigating a fatality crash with one woman deceased that happened just before midnight on Saturday night here on North Beltway 8 East, just past 59 at the Mesa Road exit. So what we know happened is we have a Lincoln MKX that was being operated by two individuals that were drinking before the collision occurred in a bar in Midtown. They were driving home. They exited towards this thing. Unfortunately, the driver failed to maintain a single lane, crashed into the barricade right here on the exit ramp, lost control, and flipped the car over several times. One of the people in the car was ejected, and we believe she was struck by a second vehicle that was in the collision, a Toyota Avalon that's no longer on the location with us. And the other passenger in that MKX, potentially the driver, was also not wearing a seatbelt, but wasn't ejected and was able to walk away from the crash. We took that person into custody, and we did a DWI investigation on him. And we are investigating to see if that person was the driver or not. Unfortunately, even though the Avalon was involved, that person was not able to tell us if that person was operating the vehicle at the time because that person wasn't seatbelted. So we have reason to believe that the person that is deceased on the scene was in fact the driver. However, we don't know that for sure. So we are processing the vehicle for DNA, and we're taking it and getting a download done. And that person has been, cooperating with our entire investigation, and we'll be able to know for sure what happened out here eventually. Like I said, we know the sequence of events. The other person involved was not intoxicated and also cooperated with us, and we released her. So there was some damage to the barrier that's being repaired by a crew right now, and once we're done with the second vehicle, we should be out of here pretty soon.
So you were able to determine that they were at a bar based off of the individual you have in custody?
Yes.
Okay.
And there was also a person that came to the scene afterwards that apparently was there with them. So we'll be contacting TABC to do a follow-up investigation on that bar to see if they violated any of the rules associated with operating an alcohol beverage establishment.
I saw you guys, it looked like you were taking airbags out of the vehicle.
Yes, part of our process is to basically process the airbags for DNA to compare them based on the people involved in the accident, including the deceased person. So, I said, we will know who happened in the crash. Airbags are factory installed in a secure, sterile environment. So essentially, they're not going to have DNA on them until the crash occurred. If you're sitting in the driver's seat, your DNA will be all over the driver's side airbags. So, we're going to process them, and hopefully it will lead us to a conclusion one way or the other. And like I said, that person was not charged with any crime tonight. We do know that person was intoxicated. We don't know how much because that person gave us a blood sample. But, in time we'll find out. But ultimately, if that person wasn't operating the vehicle, that person committed no crime today. Unfortunately, it's a tragic state of affairs. We know that both the people were drinking probably beyond the limit tonight. And I don't believe this crash would have happened if they hadn't have made that choice to drive when they were intoxicated. So.
Okay. So if at a later period you determine that the person that you have detained at this point was the driver, what charges could they be facing?
Well, like I said, that person was released. His parents came to the scene and picked him up. But ultimately, if we determined he was operating this vehicle at the time of this crash, that would put him at fault and intoxicated, depending if he's beyond the legal limit or not. But he could be charged with intox manslaughter.